Will speak, manifest beside me, my angel, for all to see.
Did you know that 85% of your engine wear occurs at startup? Yes, that is correct, and this is where Lower the Friction comes in by putting a protective, lubricating barrier on all moving parts. This now gives you full-time protection to make your engine last longer, run smoother, give you better performance, and improved fuel economy. People across the country are reporting some very exciting results. Go to lowerthefriction.com, place your order, and enter in promo code SOS to get 5% off of your order. That's lowerthefriction.com. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Secrets of Saturn livestream. In case you've been living under a tree and don't know who I am, my name is Jason Lindgren, and I am your host. My co-host, of course, every week is Wayne McCroy, who is here with us. And also this week, we have the Great Baldini, and for the first time, Russian Vids, who I'm very, very fond of as well. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. Nice to be on with you for the first time.
Oh, it's great to have you, man. Wayne and Baldini, you with us?
Always good to be here.
Yes, sir.
All right, I hear everybody.
Thanks for coming on there, RV.
No worries. It's my pleasure.
All right. So this is a topic that has kind of bugged all of us, I think, from time to time, and it's how people can be insane about shill-calling, finger-pointing, saying ridiculously, absolutely over-the-top insane things about people trying to do things in the truth community. And let's just be honest here. Everyone doesn't share the same viewpoints about everything. Newsflash. And it doesn't matter. The whole point is, are you really trying to do what you feel is right? And the 4 people who are here right now, I truly believe are trying to do what they feel is right. Doesn't mean we're all going to agree on everything 100% of the time, and I don't give a shit either. So there's my intro little spiel. Let's see, where should we start with this? Who wants to take the first crack at like the craziness of shill calling and name calling? Now, one of the biggest, probably the biggest person that gets a lot of accusations, and maybe deservedly so, would be someone like Alex Jones. We could always talk about that first before we get into some more personal stuff. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I'll jump in and I'll say, I've been at this for a very long time. The larger your channel grows, the more views you get, you're going to have a bit of jealousy, and people are going to be calling you names and calling you a shill and make all these claims without any real hardcore evidence to back it up. This is just part of being on YouTube. And here's the thing: is myself being a video maker for many years on YouTube, you can have people following you for a long time, and then say months go by, even years, and then one thing, maybe a viewer, comes across that they don't agree with, automatically you're a shill. That happens, So, but what it comes down to, what a big thing with a lot of truthers, there are the truthers, there are the Christian truthers, there are the non-religious truthers. So sometimes, of course, there's going to be butting of heads among the whole so-called truth community between religious, non-religious, and those in between. So there's always going to be that issue and a lot of misunderstandings between the whole truth community. But the main thing is this: as long as we all can agree on that, we're being lied to on a grand scale, and that's the foundation we need to work off and go from there. And that's how I see it.
All right. Anyone else want to take a crack at it before I move the conversation forward?
Well, I think I'll just say that it's understandable. Certainly, I mean, you mentioned Alex Jones earlier, and it's understandable in our community that there are controlled opposition. I think that's fairly obvious. And then we get suspicious and skeptical of almost everything. And I've stated before that even the moniker truth community is to some degree a misnomer, and that it's hard to tell often what the truth is, but you can certainly deconstruct the lies. And so I don't think it's unreasonable that we would look at some people and determine that that's controlled opposition. But when there's just all this, people calling each other shills, and certainly as RV mentioned, that you've got those who are Christians, or some of as I call might be Christians in name only, and to those who believe in a creator, but they have trouble with the Jesus aspect. And so, it's often been said that a heretic is someone who believes almost the same as you do, right? And so it is a difficult thing, and it causes a lot of division. And I think it's a great topic of discussion, certainly one that may be a little touchy because, I think each of us have been at one point or other accused of different things. I know that Wayne was accused of being somebody completely different, like he's some kind of actor. I mean,
that was ridiculous.
So, and as RV said, the larger your channel and your following grows, the more you're going to get. So me being fairly new and having a very tiny little channel, the worst I've been called is a bot. Right. So but it's a difficult and often frustrating situation, certainly, and I think it's a great topic of discussion.
Right, and to be 100% clear here, I was accused of being some dude on YouTube that does astrology videos that I have no idea who it is. So it's it's one of those things.
No, I had to go look him up. I had no idea who the hell this was. I was like, who? There were all these comments that I deleted.
Us, but who it was?
Well, the main issue here, I mean, interject here, but the main issue is with the whole aspect. Specifically, when I say Christian, that's a very vague term. Some people, don't attend church. They don't believe in churches. They believe in the Bible. Some people don't believe in the Bible, but they believe in a creator. So I guess you can say there's many different terms for a Christian or a believer, I should say, in a creator. But what it comes down to is when anybody, for example, a lot of us growing up, we just go along with society, the styles, the trends, and it's like implanted in us, Where do we learn how to dress and how to have our, for example, hairstyles? It all comes from TV. It all comes from the media, After, for example, Top Gun came out back in the 80s, every boy wanted a flat top haircut to look like one of those jet fighters from the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Or some might just, watch, see Metallica on MTV or Slayer and emulate that. And, some would be like more like The Cure and just be more like that type of darker look. Basically what I'm getting at is, we're a product of our environment, and sometimes it sticks with us longer than others, and we need to weed ourselves away from that. And, for example, now I don't want to get too detailed with this, but, for example, someone might dig out an old photo of someone and might, get a kind of a feel of someone based on someone's past. But, what it comes down to is transparency and letting people know, hey, if you have a question about me, I'll address it, and that's the important thing is because all of us, we have skeletons in our closets. None of us are perfect, and we all have past, but it's, again, about being transparent.
Yeah. And, man, if you want to know something about me, I don't think I really have much to hide. So ask me. I don't care. Gentlemen, who wants to take it?
Well, the main thing is this, and I'm going to be, very, very blunt, like I said, when it comes to this whole situation with finger pointing. Anytime something is like along the same lines as the people that run this world, people are like freaking out. That's what it comes down to a lot of the times. If you have tattoos, like anything that resembles like the so-called quote Illuminati or Freemasons, then you're going to be looked at sideways, or doing anything that goes along with what they do. Really raises red flags to people. And again, that's where a lot of issues come up.
Yeah, I mean, my own personal style, I'm a huge fan of the 1960s, a little bit of the 70s as well. I mean, that's where I pull it from. I like the long hair and I like velvet jackets and just if you saw my guitar collection and all that sort of thing, that's just what I'm into. I like that sort of music. I'm a huge Pink Floyd fan. I love the Beatles. Despite all of the things I know, and I have this thing with Crow, I'm like, hey man, I can still listen to Led Zeppelin and the Beatles and Pink Floyd, despite what I know about the manipulation of the counterculture movements, and I can still enjoy the music. I just pull myself back, enjoy it, especially from a production standpoint because I'm a studio engineer. I like doing recording, engineering, and all that kind of thing. So I appreciate the innovativeness that was going on at the time, pushing the envelope to get away from the older, where they could barely do anything. And as the technology changed through the decades, the great Baldini and I have talked about these things as well. And I know he has an appreciation for music. So, and that's it. I mean, that's the style I like. It's the kind of, you've heard some of my music. You can definitely hear that influence, and that's that.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I spent, better than 4 decades in recording studios, recording engineer, and designing recording products. But I'm going to pick up on where RV, talked about, the differences again between those who believe in a creator and those who are, more religious, that sort of thing. I think there is I have said more than once, right, that it's, only 99% of Christians that give the rest a bad name. And sometimes that the biggest obstacle to Christianity are Christians, right? It's so much so that, I just say labels are for soup cans, right? I follow what I would call.
I like that. That works.
Right. I follow the way. I try to do my best to follow the teachings of Jesus, and that's pretty much it. The rest of it, from the way I read it, he did made a very specific point of getting rid of religion. That's pretty well indicated by the rending of the veil between the holy and the most holy place in the temple, top to bottom, during during his crucifixion, which would indicate that there's no longer a need for an intercessor, besides him. So from my perspective, right, that's as far as I go. But I'm not very evangelistic in my views. Again, I'll explain them, but I'm not trying to twist anybody's arm. But I do see a number of people, for example, who seem to want to take it upon themselves to call each other down. I see this, for example, another guy in our community, Rob Skiba, has a lot of people. He's gotten sort of into what is known as the Torah movement.